Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Cal Royal number HOSBB-5200. This is a 4.5 by 4.5 hospital tip, full mortise, heavyweight ball bearing steel based hinge. Let's dissect the part number. HOS, that's a reference to the hospital tip. You're going to see a hospital tip specified by a architect for an application, such as could be nursing homes, could be hospitals, could be institutions, and the specific intent of this is that the curved shape to the barrel and pin assembly at the top is specifically to prevent someone from harming themselves by getting something up and over the tip of the hinge. That's exactly what this is for, and that's why those are used. Okay, not for aesthetic reasons, although it certainly looks nice, but that's not why they're used. It's a hospital tip for safety purposes, liturgical sort of, ligature sort of hardware, specifically designed to prevent suicide. So, moving on, the BB in the part number means ball bearing. That's self-explanatory, but on a hinge like this, there are going to be 4 ball bearing packets. The -5200 or the 5200 specifically means this is a heavyweight hinge, and on a 4.5 inch, the leaf thickness is 180 thousandths thick. That is substantially thicker than a standard duty hinge. However, if you had a high volume door, high volume usage, perhaps wider than 3 foot, perhaps taller than 7 foot, the opening would absolutely benefit from the installation of a thicker grade hinge. When you get that thicker leaf, 180 thousandths versus the standard 134 thousandths thick, you will then get the 4 ball bearings, and that's where that comes in, whereas a standard hinge will have 2 ball bearing packets. Now, it is 4.5, 4.5, and that is a reference to the size. And on hinges like this, the height is the first dimension. It's 4.5 tall, 4.5 wide. It's important to know that. Doesn't really matter on a hinge that's basically square, but imagine if you had a 5 by 4.5. It would be crucial to know that 5 inch was the height rather than the width. The rest of the part number refers to full mortise. You can see from the swag on the hinge leaves there that when the leaves are brought parallel, they're meant to be mortised flush to the edge of the door and frame. Is heavyweight, we discussed that. Is steel based. That means that this hinge is made of steel, appropriate for use on a fire rated door. Okay. Whereas a fire rated door could not have a brass hinge, it has to be a non-ferrous hinge. Shown in the 2060 satin chrome finish is what this is. There is a table of information below this video. Let's go over it now. Hospital tip, we discussed that. Made of steel, 180 thousandths leaf thickness. It is a 5-knuckle hinge. 4 ball bearings, that's typical for heavyweight. Number of holes is 8, 4 and 4. This pattern of the screw holes is considered standard. We call it template. It's the standard template pattern that you're going to get. You really don't have to think about it being anything else. Unless your frame, I suppose, was very odd or very old. You could have something non-template pattern. Screws are going to be included per the description. You're going to get machine and wood screws. Typically, half wood and all machine is how they are packaged, but sometimes all wood and all machine screws. For heavy doors or doors receiving high-frequency use, inner edges are beveled to conform the shape of barrel and to make for close-fitting joints. That's just a reference to the machining tolerance. It is a very tight tolerance sort of hinge. There is a link below this video to a document called Template, and the template will give you all of the important details of this hinge. It doesn't show an HOS version or hospital tip version, just the BB5200, but everything else applies other than this is a hospital tip sort of hinge. Finishes, this is available in several standard finishes from Cal Royal. You can get this hinge also with a removable pin versus a non-removable pin. This hinge specifically is a non-removable pin Not that you cannot remove it, you can remove it. But if it's an exterior door that swings out, or it's an application where you do not, from the pull side of the door, or you cannot suffer the tampering of the pin, as in to drive it out to get the door off, the fact that it is a non-removable pin means that the barrel has been drilled and tapped for this very small set screw. The pin itself is likely grooved so that the groove in the pin and the set screw inserts into that groove once you tighten the set screw down, making it all but impossible to drive that pin out. I've tried. You can't. It's all but impossible to get the pin out. So if you have an application where you can't allow the pins to be tampered with, absolutely order the non-removable pin. The pin can be removed, but only when the door is open and you loosen the set screw. Then you can carefully tap the pin out. That's what you'll do. Cal Royal is a company that imports a comprehensive amount of builders' hardware. Exit devices, door closers, lock sets, comprehensive offering. They basically have all primary bases covered with their product offering. There is a link below this video to the manufacturer page where you can pull up their product catalog and view the totality of what they offer. If you have any questions on the Cal Royal HOSBB-5200 4.5 hospital tip hinge or any other Cal Royal product, please feel free to reach out.